We'll call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Polly,
Excuse the absence.
trustee Lappin,
Here.
clerk Palovich here, treasurer Ellery Summers. Here. Trustee Kroll,
Here.
trustee Reiner.
Here.
Supervisor Skibby.
Aye, here. Are there any additions, corrections, or substitutions to the agenda? I have two, of which we can postpone old business A to July 22nd. And then also new business item 6 is the contract we already have with R&R for the air compressor system. So that's an ongoing expense that's already been board approved. With those two corrections to the agenda, are there anything else?
Oh, we're taking off number 6.
Yep.
Yes.
And then
I'll make-
postponing old business to the subsequent meeting, July 22nd.
22nd? Okay.
Yes.
I'll make a motion. We approve the agenda as presented with the changes.
We have a motion to adopt the amended agenda. Is there support?
Support.
Was that?
Russ was in there. Support.
You don't have any. agenda?
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? How's it going, guys?
Um,
Any further discussion?
He doesn't have an agenda. That's how he's getting them. Michelle's getting them.
Thank you.
You read it 2 weeks ago.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, so all those in favor of approving the amended agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Agenda has been approved. This leads us to the first opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment, please use, if you're online, to use the bottom taskbar under the ellipsis of more to raise your hand. And so we can identify your comment. If there's any public comment in person, please stand at the podium, state your name, yourself for 3 minutes. Seeing no comments online or in person, we will move to the consent agenda. Are there anything that needs to be pulled from the consent agenda for further discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
I'll make.
We have a motion. Do we have support? from
Also
trustee?
support with the congratulations to the supervisor.
Oh, I appreciate that, sir. We have a motion and support on the consent agenda. Any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers. Yes. Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. At this point in time, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session.
You want me
Yes,
to read it?
by all means.
I'll make a motion that the township board enter into closed session to consult with the township attorney regarding trial strategy in the water and sewer rate litigation pending for Circuit Court pursuant to MCL 15.268(1)(e).
We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
Or
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers. Yes. Trustee Kroll,
yes.
trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Palovich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. We're now officially in closed session at 6:02. Back officially. We are now back officially in open session.
At what time?
At 6:45, already.
Perfect, thank you.
Moving forward into new business item number 1, which is the fixed disposal asset list. We need to add, our slightly dated late 80s pumper tanker onto the, fixed disposal asset list. We obviously, at our last meeting, took receipt of our brand new pumper tanker. And so that is the request to add the old tanker onto the fixed disposal asset list, and I entertain a motion to that effect.
So moved.
We have a motion on the table to add the 1989 Ford tanker. We have support by trustee Reiner to put the tanker onto the fixed disposal asset. Any further discussion?
Are those, is that a piece of equipment, for example, that could be donated to a surrounding municipality to the one, or is?
I think there's potential parts that could be. I think that it would be inherently a potential liability,
Yeah,
given the fact of its historic position. So I think that the opportunity for kindness, sometimes free isn't always free.
it's the Smithsonian
Yeah.
wouldn't want it. then?
So,
So do we have plans for?
we actually, Chief Hansen, provided a couple, opportunities to disperse of it. So we'll be, now that we're adding it to the list and I'm back, having a little bit more time, I'll probably work on, dispersing.
I know a guy that might want it. He buys tankers for his maple syrup operation.
Oh, there you go. I'll, please send me any and all contact information. So we have a motion on the table and support. Any further discussion besides maple syrup? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Trustee Lappin,
Yes,
clerk Palovich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers. Yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Moving forward into new business item number 2 is a contract with Mr. Pauly, our building official. Since I worked with him and Kevin on this.
I don't think any of us have a copy of it,
This is a
unless I didn't put it in the right one.
real.
No, it was then set up.
Okay, well, I didn't make myself.
Okay, it is my recommendation, to move forward with, and Tim, if you have anything in terms of, I work principally with Kevin and, Tim on the changes to his previous contract. This is, to raise his monthly fee to $5,000 and then also to split the, commercial site plan review, 75-25 with the township. The biggest thing that I think that we work towards, and I think we're all on board, is kind of somewhat succession planning. And so that way, and whenever Mr. Pauly so chooses to retire,
no,
we'll be in a good position where we don't have to hunt very much like the city is, between a rock and a hard place trying to find a building official.
I just want a clause that says we get to decide that.
Yeah, well. So, yes, Laura.
How long is this term for?
The term.
Just continues until either party would.
90 days written notice, yep.
Okay.
So I would entertain if there's any other questions for him or myself in regards to,
I'll make a motion to approve the
Okay.
contract as presented.
we have a motion on the table to approve the contract as presented. Is there support?
Support.
Been moved and supported. Further discussion?
And what is the effective date of that?
It would be effective. I would make the assumption that it would be following tonight's meeting.
Yeah, everybody will
Yep.
sign tonight. Yeah, 2 originals and Kevin can have one.
So would it go, it would start with the July 1st billing?
So July 1st billing.
Okay.
Thank you for the point of clarification.
It's just easier for us billing people.
this is strictly an independent contract. Right. Within the language of this contract, it requires that the building official provide the township with evidence of liability insurance. But automobile insurance and the workers' compensation as if applicable. But it also goes on to state that the building official will hold us harmless and indemnify us. Typically, one indemnifies through insurance. And I wonder if you were to make a professional error, your general liability is not likely to provide you coverage for that. You have professional liability?
I have the same liability. That's for a year.
Answer my question.
Former insurance.
All right, so that would be more than likely
It's
4
contract.
insurance policies. There'd be a liability, auto, work comp, although you don't have any employees, so you won't need that. But then there, so you'd have at least 3 policies. If I were, you,
I don't know the policy.
I would strongly suggest that you look into that, because there's a section here where if you were to make a professional error, and if you were sued for that professional error, the township, because you're an independent contractor, would not be, our policy would not extend to protect you. And that could be a big hit. So you should look into that, to see. It shouldn't be terribly expensive. All right, it'd be worthwhile looking at.
So is that something you're asking us to?
No,
include in the
we're
contract?
fine. We have
Okay.
a, we
It's
have a
just
whole,
giving words
I'm
of
just giving you
advice,
some
just-
advice.
Yeah, we just,
All right, I would, all right, thank you.
Yeah.
so we have a motion and support. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for everything. It's been a pleasure.
You're too young to retire.
I'll take your word for it. That's definitely, okay, moving forward onto new item, number 3. Is a quote for, the only one that we got back. From Benjamin Builders, and this is to take our front entryway. This would be a first phase of the front entryway, now that we have security wall in the treasurer's office. Adds an inherent layer of issue with the existing former doorway. So
That.
yeah, that first door coming in, so this.
Coming into Laura's office.
Coming into Laura's office, so straight into the entryway, to the,
Okay.
immediately to the right, that wall and that first door. Which now truly isn't needed. That is this quote, it is to be removed. And so then that would be open, all the way to the service window, which we already have a security door there.
Gotcha.
And then it would actually has, the same carpeting that we have in this entryway. From that wall all the way to the door at the fire in the hall. Which has mitigated
A
a
ton.
ton of, especially in the winter season, salt transfer, so.
And it would come up to these doors, these boardroom doors.
Correct.
And
Yep.
down the hallway.
Yep, all the
too.
way to the fire department, so. That is the quote that is presented, by Benjamin Builders. And it is my recommendation, given the fact that out of 2 months of searching, he's the only one that's been brought forward an estimate. To move forward with the estimate of wall removal, entry carpet, and the electrical, which also includes the building permits and the electrical permits for a total cost of $14,500.
Do you have a GL that you'd pay this out of?
It would be what, 931, so 101-265-931-000. Buildings and grounds. Or maintenance and repair building, I believe that's its name, maintenance and repair building 931.
Do we have a timeline on this or? I mean,
He called yesterday, his crews, that was the other thing, I was hoping to get more quotes. But by the time some of the contractors said, by the time I get there to give a quote and you approve it at your next board meeting, it's gonna be wrong because costs are fluctuating, so. He's looking to start immediately, so really I'd have to coordinate with you of, the express timeline of the summer tax collection and make sure that it's not negatively impacting. walking.
Does he know about how long it would take him to do this?
Um,
Like a week or? a
Yeah,
month?
he's in hopes of less than 2 weeks,
Okay.
but any contractor won't give you 3 days when they're tearing into
I mean, we'll figure it out.
that wall is the exterior, the original exterior wall of the original footprint of the first segment of this building, so we'll see.
Is that a load bearing wall?
The exterior one?
I'm assuming, is that what?
Yeah,
is
it's
that-
not going all the way to the top, so it's gonna stay, it's still gonna be a load bearing, they're gonna be putting a beam to
So,
brace it.
All right,
Oh,
so that was gonna be one of my questions.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Oh, yeah, ask.
So where the wall removal is, I get that, I understand the carpeting and I understand all the things associated with the floor. But where that wall is gonna be about an 8-inch gap, what's gonna be putting that 8-inch gap?
Powder coated steel.
Powder-coated steel caps. So he's basically gonna create a frame. I can show you exactly.
He's gonna put a beam
Okay,
on
so
top
it's
of
gonna be
the
similar
block.
to something like, it's gonna be a drop down a little bit. Somehow it's gonna be disguised.
Yeah, it's gonna look
Okay,
nice.
all right. So he doesn't
It's
have
not
to
just
tie
broken
in.
block.
What he does, well, I thought he would have to tie in some tiles. And so I'm like, well, how are they gonna do that?
No,
So,
it'll
okay, all right.
perfectly, it'll still be a division, it'll still be load bearing. It's just gonna have now a metal version of an LVL or some other kind of
All right,
cap. That's-
gotcha.
So with that being said, I'd entertain, it'd be my recommendation to move forward with the quote of Benjamin Builders. For the front entryway work, because the next one is concurrent to and on the same timeline.
Was this part of it? Is this
The
the
second,
load
the
bearing
second,
wall?
no,
No,
the second
this is-
quote is separate.
Oh, okay.
And that's why
I
I wanted to
didn't.
keep it. So
Okay.
I'll make that motion.
we have a motion on the table to move forward with the estimate prepared by Benjamin Builders for 14,500 for the front entryway. Is there support?
I'll support it.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Lappin,
No,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner,
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. The next estimate, by the same builder, is to replace, the deteriorating masonry column that is holding, the cantilevered roof over the fire department's entryway. It's basically from salt deterioration, crumbling from the bottom up. So the quote that, the estimate they have before you is to replace it with powder coated steel beam and replace it in that manner so that we wouldn't have to address it pretty much ever again.
so the beam's gonna be a vertical beam or is it a,
It's currently, if you look after the meeting, if you look, it's just by 12 by 12 block. And the
you know, bottom,
bottom two block are just rotting right out.
so you're gonna put a beam inside that or?
It's just gonna be a new beam and probably wrap, so it just looks nice and clean.
Is it outside or inside?
It's an exterior
Oh, okay.
support.
Is it gonna go all the way up and
Yes.
replace all the blocks in that
Yes.
column? Okay.
Yeah, we're just gonna get rid of the masonry aspect and go straight steel.
essentially gonna hold up the cantilever.
Yeah.
Ceiling.
And the steel will hold up with powder coating better than the block, is that what they're telling us?
Yeah, just because of the porous nature, especially anywhere around our parking lots. When we
There's
get
salt.
salt, it just, if you don't have it washed on a regular basis, that salt really does do some pretty nasty
Does
stuff.
Pretty good job on steel too, but maybe
Yeah.
not the powder coated kind.
Yeah,
What if the powder coat gets chipped? I guess it'll. Oh, no, I'm wondering if there'd be a concrete base and then the,
yeah. I mean, it's,
yeah, I mean,
Do a galvanized post, over it.
yeah,
I'm just trying to think of how you could mitigate rust.
Well, it's galvanized.
Yeah, no, galvanized would be fine.
Galvanized
does it have
steel
the
is
strength?
structurally strong enough?
The bridges are built. I don't know.
Oh, that's. okay. See, I have no idea what building.
so.
Because we don't know.
I'm a car mechanic, I don't know.
So there is, before you, the estimate, this is, a crucial, it's structural. And this has been a known issue for over a year. We finally have the opportunity to move forward with it post the roofing project. So it is my recommendation to move forward with, replacement of that support beam.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion on the
I'll
table.
support it.
It's been moved and supported. Further discussion? Seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Lappin,
Yes,
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes,
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. The next item of business is, the number 5, R&R truck repair invoice for engine 2, which had, an issue with the flex exhaust dampener for a total cost of $1,862.83. to be paid out of GL 205-336-938-000 vehicle maintenance. This work has already been completed, correct? This pulled our second newest engine out of service, and I, in communication with Chief Hansen, approved this emergency expenditure to get it back in service.
And
faster rather than-
Engine two is the 2013 Pierce.
And
So I'd entertain a motion to move forward with the expenditure of $1,862.83 of the GL.
I'll make the motion with a very short explanation of what an exhaust flex damper is.
And I'll support it.
Amazingly, you just want to hit this one on the fence, because honestly, I was like, I can grab some Campbell soup cans. I mean.
So the exhaust
It's like-
comes off the manifold and there's a structural piece that has to flex to go between the frames. And so that piece connects to the main exhaust that goes to the back of the truck,
That's flex pipe?
and that's flex pipe in there. And that broke right in half, and that won't allow the truck to do its regeneration. So if it doesn't do its regeneration, it drops your RPMs and speed down to 5 miles an hour and you can't operate it.
Yeah,
So
the Cadillac like that.
Other than that, it's no problem.
So,
I support it.
okay, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. Okay, and that concludes our new business. I'd entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I'll make a motion that the township board enter into closed session to discuss confidential written legal opinion pursuant to MCL 15.26A1H.
We have a motion on the table. Is there support?
Who made? was that
We got
Did you
Steve?
support or?
I think
Steve.
someone-
Steve?
Yeah, he was
Steve did.
quick on the draw. Okay, further discussion? Seeing none? Roll call, please.
Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Supervisor Skibby.
Yes,
And what time?
it is 7:05. We're officially in open session at this point in time. Are there any motions on the table?
So I'd like to make a motion that we accept the fire chief's letter for non-renewal of his contract.
I'll support it.
Been moved and supported to accept chief's letter. Further discussion?
Oh, I'd just like to say that I really appreciate your service to this point. I know you poured your heart into this department. And I know you're gonna be there willing to assist us in whatever that next phase is. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
I concur.
Thank you.
And thank you for your friendship.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Kroll,
Yes.
Trustee Reiner.
Yes.
Trustee Lappin.
Yes.
Clerk Flavich, yes. Treasurer Ellery Summers.
Yes.
Supervisor Skibby.
Yes. That concludes our business. This is the second opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment online, please use the bottom taskbar under the ellipsis of more, so that we can identify you and hear your comment. Again, this is the second and last opportunity for public comment. If there's any public comment online or in person, to the podium, state your name for the record, sir.
Good evening, my name is Jim Stackowitz. I know this is not a question and answer session. However, I wanted to make a couple statements. Number one, regarding the consent agenda. When you have the consent agenda, you have just payment of bills. It would be nice if for transparency that the bills that are being paid was listed, or the amount that was being paid. I know other municipalities do that in their board packets. Just that way people know what the township's spending their money on. The other thing I wanted to talk about is In January, this board voted to hire a consultant to look into the fire department. And in that contract, on page 4, section 4, final written report and oral presentation to the Board of Selectmen public meeting no later than June 1 of 2024. It is now June 24th, and there has been no public presentation of that consultant's report. My question for the board is, are they still paying the full $10,000 to the consultant for this, or is there a penalty for not being presented by June 1st? To my knowledge, there's been no board action extending that date. And I was just curious if the consultants have completed their report, or if they're still in progress, and what penalties they may suffer for not having it presented by June 1st. Thank you.
Thank you. Comment? Are there any other comments online or in person? Seeing none, any further discussion for the good of the order?
Why does everybody look at me?
No, hey.
I feel like Stephen Ross, so you should have something to say about something.
Looking at the door.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
With that,
Usual suspects.
yeah, with that being said, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
No, we're not ready to adjourn.
Yeah,
So moved.
Michelle would like to, are there any stories that you'd like to talk about?
We have a motion on the table. I'm-
Something for discussion. I know.
Yes.
Somebody must have bet
Oh,
on
I have something.
time of the end.
Birdhouses.
No,
A motion
no.
on the table.
There's a
Is there
motion.
Is there support?
There's a
I
motion and
guess we can
support.
Support that.
Further discussion.
Okay, having nothing whatsoever to do with township operations, my daughter gave birth to her first baby boy.
Awesome.
About the same time that I believe your family brought a new life in.
It's a beautiful thing. It's a
Indeed.
beautiful thing. So. Is there
Sorry,
a-
Michelle, I couldn't stretch it
I
anymore.
need one more minute. One more minute.
All those in favor of adjournment signify by
Who
saying
made that
aye.
motion?
I did.
Oh, really? Who made the motion?
I did.
Laura
and
did.
Steve supported.
Steve supported. All those
Very
opposed, the
slow,
same.
yeah, eyes.
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 7:37. Thank you very much.